My name is I.D.E. Thomas, born in Wales long time ago, been in the United States about 30 years. This is the Welsh Presbyterian Church. There are very few Welsh churches left in America. But the churches, they're disappearing, the Welsh churches, because they spoke Welsh, the people who came here, their children spoke Welsh, their grandchildren would marry American wives or husbands, and the language would disappear in that way. So after 2 or 3 or 4 generations, none of them would speak Welsh. So the Welsh churches became English churches. But this is one of the few who's remained partly English and partly Welsh.
I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears.
Mae'r rhais yn edrych arno'n glowi, ac ni ddaw cywilydd gwynebau.
Look to him and be radiant, so your faces shall never be ashamed.
Dyma un isel a wyddod, a'r adlwyn yn ei glywed, ac yn ei waredu a'i holl gyfanderau.
And although they're from different denominations, they're mainly Presbyterian. Now I'm a Baptist. Somebody else may be a Congregationalist or a Methodist, but because of Welsh connection, this is the only church they can come to. The only one in town that allows, well, some Welsh. But they're very conscious now. They were, of course, 100 years ago when they started the church. They were very conscious with them because they spoke the language fluently and sang the hymns. They couldn't sing them anywhere else, but they could sing it here. But it went down, but now it's beginning to revive a little. Although they don't speak the language, they seem to want to keep hold of their identity in that way, and they're very anxious to sing the Welsh hymns because they are different.
The Welsh people really cling to hearing the Welsh language and speaking the Welsh language. A number of these people sing the Welsh hymns, read the Welsh Bible, but don't understand the Welsh language.
I came from a Welsh-speaking family, and so though my father never spoke it, he did speak it in songs and things of that sort, but he didn't speak it in its intensive his work because English is the language of this country, the United States, and he married an American who didn't want to bother with any other language, which is a shame because there should have been more.
My children, I have 2 children. Yes. They both live in Oregon. And my children are not Welsh speaking, although they know a few words in Welsh. The reason mainly for that is because my wife was American. I don't blame her for that, but I blame myself for not making more effort and teaching and spend more time. But when you're working and doing other things, it's very hard to do all that.
The language is important not only to the Welsh people, but to many groups of people who find common identity in their language. The Welsh feel that the more they keep their language relevant, the more they are going to be able to preserve the Welsh race or the Welsh people.
I come across a lot of words that I don't know how to pronounce them and how to use them and what they mean. I have a sturdy dictionary with me, but still, it's not the same as it is when you're a Welsh speaker.
In the United States, Welsh people are preserving the language better than they are in Wales. In Wales, it's about 1 out of 5 people speak Welsh. In the United States, out of Welsh people, 1 out of 3 speaks Welsh. Now, there's a whole resurgence in Wales of teaching in Welsh. It's when you lose your language, you really lose your culture.
And now we'll do the Lord's Prayer in Welsh. And those of you that don't know it off by heart, is under Roman numeral 4 in your book. Hey, Tad, the Lord to the Nevoid, Tantelia Deo, Delia Demas, Miller Delicious, Megis and the Air, Vestia of the Yakilit. The Roy had you and Bara Venador, Amaba in Electron, Velana de Mina in Electron, Akaka Wine Prolifica, is the Warren Heat Hatu, can say the she with us, Abdef, Abdonias, Amen.
Welsh is the oldest spoken language in Europe. It's not the oldest language, but the oldest spoken language. It's an old Celtic language. It has some but very faint similarities with Gaelic of Scotland and Ireland, and the Basques of Spain, and the Bretons of Brittany in France. The Celtic people were driven right across Europe, and they occupied the western fringes of Europe. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Cornwall in a way too, Brittany in France, and Basque in Spain. And that's how they survived. Most of those languages are spoken by very few people. They're trying to recover them. The Welsh have survived better for some reason than all the others, although they've been under the dominion of England, the Anglo-Saxons, for a long time. But lots of them have stayed on speaking Welsh, but the last 50 years or so, the Welsh has revived quite a lot.
I am studying the Welsh language for 2 reasons. One of them is that for a number of people in the congregation, the Welsh language is a very important thing to hear and to say. And during church services, it would add to their ability to worship during church. Secondly, I am interested in my heritage and in just learning the Welsh language as to be able to hopefully someday preach in it.
I think that's the main thing, to know who I am, because without, you don't know who you are. You don't know you're a product of where your ancestor came from.
Well, I come to the church because it's a Welsh church, and that is my background, and that's my culture. That's the only reason I come here.